Hello and welcome back. Today is going to be a great day. Why? Thanks for asking. I feel like we're really developing kind of a simpatico here. No, not you. Sir, there is an active restraining order against you. 200 feet. Sorry. After a long morning of yard work and digging in the dirt, it's coming up on noon, and tonight we're having ribs for dinner. We're going to make 4 racks of ribs on the Old Country Brazos smoker today. And along with the ribs, we're going to whip up a sauce or two and maybe a few sides and a dessert. Why 4 racks of ribs? Well, we're going to do them all a little bit different. We're going to do our standard kind of glazed sweet ribs, a glazed rack of spicy ribs, and then a Memphis style and a wet rib. So some of these are going to be wrapped with sauce, some of them just left to cook to the end on their own. It should be a pretty interesting experience. In our review video for the Brazos, we did beef ribs. Those turned out awesome, but pork ribs require a little bit different type of finesse, and certainly, obviously, the flavor profile is going to be quite a bit different. We're looking for pullback on the ribs, same as we did on the beef. We want them to look good. We want them to feel right. Temperature isn't as important, but we'll share some of those tips as we go as well. Not much left to do, but get a fire started. It's been raining nearly every single day non-stop over the last week. I do cover my wood pile, but it is a little damp. And so rather than the normal charcoal chimney method, we are going to have to engage the services of an old friend. Just a quick note on the size of the splits. They look pretty big when you see them on camera, but this is about the size of split I use in the Brazos. This is probably on the large side, but when you compare it to the split that I use in the custom offset, it's quite a bit smaller. Thankfully, the wood guy that I use brings me several different sizes for all of my various smokers. That's an important tip. Make sure you always get a good guy to give you wood. Yeah. The first set of ribs is going to be the Memphis dry rub. I'm going to give these a little trim. Really just square them up. A Memphis style dry rub is really just as it sounds, right? We've got a seasoning blend here that we're going to apply to this to start, and then we're going to let it cook that way through the whole process. There's also Memphis wet rub or wet style ribs, and those would get coated with barbecue sauce at the very beginning, and the coating would be reapplied throughout the cook process. Going to go ahead and start these out with some yellow mustard. And we apply our seasoning blend. Now, your seasoning blend, can be kind of anything you want, right? There are some Memphis pitmasters that have, 30 or 40 seasonings in their rib rub. This one's not quite that high. The basic components generally are going to be paprika, garlic powder, and some sort of salt. Now, we've got all 3 of those in here. We're using a sweet paprika, but we also have a few other things that we're bringing to the party. Namely, powdered maple syrup, powdered molasses, and a bit of granulated onion. I'm going to go ahead and score the back. Typical checkerboard pattern. And we're done with this set. For the next set, these are actually already squared off pretty well, so we just went ahead and put our crosshatch pattern on the back. And this is getting just a blend of seasoned salt and brown sugar. Apply our mustard. Beautiful. Now when these go on, we'll hit them with a drizzle of honey. For this next set, we've got a blend of seasoned salt and powdered honey. This is going to end up getting sauced. So we're not putting a whole lot on here in the beginning. Also, we're not hitting this one with a binder, and that's because I forgot. To be honest, it doesn't look like it really needs it. Okay, this last set's going to end up being our spicy ribs, and so I'm just going with an off-the-shelf rub this time. This is actually sold by a friend of mine at a beer fest near you. It's my first time trying it on ribs. We'll see. It's got an awesome color, and I've done it on chicken. This one I deliberately left out the binder because I left it out in the last one. And I want to compare the two sets, with and without a binder, see if the texture is different, that sort of thing. Alright, last rack is ready to go on. Oh good, it's starting to rain. That just makes me so happy. Notice when we're first starting a fire here, we have both the firebox door as well as the main smoker door open. There's going to be a lot of acrid smoke in this phase, and we just really don't want to coat the inside of our cook chamber with that. Also, notice I've got 3 smaller logs and then one fairly good sized split on there. In this early part, we're really just trying to get a very hot coal bed going, so we're actually going to take the temp quite a bit higher than we'd cook at. That's so that any future logs we throw on there ignite pretty much immediately. We're also going to take this opportunity, once this is hot enough, to preheat some of those splits so they're ready to go and will catch even quicker. 4 racks of ribs. As promised. I'm going to go ahead and hit that one with honey. Not just a whole lot at the moment. We're going to keep drizzling it on at various times during the cook. About an hour and a half into the cook, let's take a look at them. Getting some really good color on these. We are kind of pooling on this one a little bit here. I'll have to fix that in a second. You fix that because it messes with the appearance. It doesn't really hurt anything. This one is going to be our spicy rack, and it kind of shows it, right? It's very barky. I'm looking forward to that one in particular. And yes, I do put the scraps on. Chef's prerogative. Those are my snack throughout the day.
Oh, hello. You caught me shucking my corn.
Want help? Help?
Yes, we're a cooking family. We do it as a family. We're doing sides, magic sides, which is awesome. We're gonna do corn on the cob, and I'm gonna cut off these ends here, and I'm gonna cut them in half because we've got more people than we have corn. So cut it in the middle. Now we have 2 little corns. I cut the ends off because it's just easier to handle. You don't have awkward, an awkward little nub to deal with. And I'm not an expert corn shucker, but I'm married into a family of experts, so I kind of pick up a little tips and tricks. You'll have to make sure your mom watches this.
Yeah, the mother shucker.
Yeah, my mother-in-law is a mother shucker. In all seriousness, she's amazing and I love her.
Now on these, we're not getting a whole lot of smoke, right? They're going to be in a packet, but we're going to leave it open.
What I'm going to do is we're going to make a little packet and we're going to just put we're going to leave one little tiny hole open. I say tiny hole, about maybe silver dollar size. So it gets a little bit of smoke, but not overly smoky because it's corn. Corn is sweet. You want it to be sweet, and we're going to butter it in there so it's got a nice juicy texture like a good sweet corn is supposed to have. But trust me, as somebody that has eaten her fair share of corn on the cob and smoked corn on the cob, it is delicious.
We have cut a foil packet. We have cut a foil packet with a machete before.
I mean,
it was a camping thing, but we did it.
Okay. And there's our hole. You can just see a little butter sticking out.
Yeah, we'll kind of tint it up a little bit so that some smoke can get in there. But otherwise, it should almost be like a cooking pot.
What I have done, and I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I put the butter on top of the corn because as the butter starts to melt, this will stay kind of up. So smoke gets in there.
Yeah, and not only that, the butter gets smoky.
Yes.
So smoky butter is awesome.
So good. So for this one, it's going to be really, really simple. We have potatoes. We're going to make a foil packet of potatoes with butter and ranch powder. Makes for a real quick and easy side. So I've got gold potatoes. These are awesome because all you have to do is wash them. You don't have to peel them. Peeling potatoes, nobody likes to do it. So gold potatoes, red potatoes, they're your friends. I'm going to quarter these. Oh, all right. A packet of potatoes. We are making Oreo fluff. Basically, 2 packages of instant pudding. I'm using chocolate. You could use white chocolate. You could use Oreo. You could use vanilla. It would be delicious. And to the pudding, we're going to add about 4 cups of milk. I'm eyeballing because I didn't bring a measuring cup. Like an idiot. Basically, you're going to make the pudding right here. This is all instant pudding, so magic pudding right here. Pudding powder plus milk equals pudding. Making sure all the powdery bits are incorporated. Alright, to that, whipped topping. I'm going to use 2 things of whipped topping, but I'm going to incorporate them one at a time. And we're going to do a fold. So what we're going to do is we're going to scoop to the bottom, roll to the top. That's a fold. The first one you want to fold, the next one you can just stir. Now, what makes it Oreo fluff is Oreos. So I've got a bag right here of Oreos that I just crushed. And you don't have to remove the middles because that's what makes them delicious. These are not double stuffed. These are regular stuffed Oreos. We're going to do some more Oreos so you can see. I say Oreos. You can use whatever sandwich cracker or cookies you prefer. Oreos does not sponsor me. I wish they would.
So it occurred to me we've already done a spicy sauce on this channel, so this time we're going to do a sweet one. This is going to be a brown sugar bourbon barbecue sauce. So we're going to start out with 1 cup of ketchup, about a half cup of brown sugar. To that, we're going to add 1/2 cup of bourbon. Your choice on variety. Whatever you've got on hand is fine. However, I would caution you against using something that's, 110 proof or something. Stick to an 80 proof. Then we will add about 3 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. Roughly 1 tablespoon of Dijon mustard. Just eyeballing that one. About a tablespoon or so of Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire, however it's pronounced. Eyeballing that as well. Roughly a half cup of molasses. It occurs to me that we have some bourbon left over. I guess I brought a little too much.
Oh no.
We add our spices, and that is equal parts, a half tablespoon apiece of salt, garlic powder, and black pepper. Okay, we're going to crank up the temp a little bit on that. We're going to let it reduce for a few minutes. If you wanted this to be a thick and chunky type of sauce, you could add maybe a half onion in here and a couple of cloves of garlic instead of the garlic powder. As it's a sweeter sauce, my target audience doesn't much care for onion, so I'm leaving it out. Okay, coming along now. This is a reduction, right? Which means we're boiling off some of the liquid, really essentially some of the water from this to make it a thicker sauce. You don't generally want a runny barbecue sauce. Now, there are exceptions. If you're doing barbecue chicken or something like that and you want a thin vinegar-based barbecue sauce that completely coats every fold of it, sure. But for ribs, it's got to be a thick sauce. It is about half of its original volume now, so it is as reduced as we want it. We're good to go. Okay, boy, these ribs are looking awesome. We've got our sides on here, and they're cooking down nicely as well. Ribs are bouncing between 150 and 160. Lower rack ones are about 170, which you'd expect, right? There's more heat down there. If we want to wrap, the time is now. All right, our wrapping ribs and our sauce. We're going to sauce this up pretty good for a wetter rib. And then we're going to wrap it. Same as always, once it's wrapped, it will not take any more smoke. So it's just about the heat now. Time to stoke that fire. We've been cooking today at about 250, if we're going to average it out. We'll throw another log on here because we're going to ramp the temperature up a little bit now to finish these out.